All right, what's up, everyone? We're going live, even though they're having audio issues. If you let me know if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or comment in the chat or something to make sure it is working. Uh-oh, now they're emailing me. Can you all hear me? So you guys can hear me, but now they're wanting to change. But I'm live. We'll join anyway. Hopefully we can make this work.
Karen, can you hear me?
Well, now, Gene, I'm going to have the problem of
Darren?
I can't hear you because I have my computer muted and you're on my computer. Well, let's see if we add Gene, if we can. Well, that didn't work.
Well, okay. So this is dangerous, but we gotta get in.
Gene,
Can
if
you
you
hear me,
can hear
Darren?
me, do you guys want to try loading the app
Can
again?
you hear me? You probably no. He can't hear me. Okay.
I can't hear what you're
Camera's
saying,
blocked.
but you want to try loading the app on your
Or
phone?
access to your camera.
Let's see if that'll work again. Window capture, that's what I want. There we go. Oh man, the joys of technology. Hold on. I'm going to mute this. I definitely should stick with printing. I was an IT guy in my past life, and it is lots of fun. I'm sorry, everyone, for the fun, but we'll get to the fun here in a minute. I just text Gene to see if it will fix it. Well, welcome everyone to the stream, even though we're having some technical difficulties. The plan is to show you a tour of Fireprint's facility, and that way you can see kind of what they do, the equipment they use, things like that. If you have any questions, let's ask them, and just ask them during the stream or whatever, because I have this set up really cool. So it's like I can highlight why Bob says he sees that I switched from printing or from IT to printing. So I tried to have this all set up and fun, but obviously we're having some technical difficulties here. Well, while we're waiting for this, do you guys have any questions directly for me that I can answer and we can go over? We might switch. We might switch which app we're doing. Okay. The screen's going to go blank for a minute, but we'll be right back. You're going to get another request. Start?
No, I don't. We're past that. I'm talking to Darren right now. I can see him.
All right.
Oh, okay.
And then
Window capture, window capture. Okay. All right. Now, theoretically, people should be able to see us, and it won't necessarily be pretty, but it should work. So can everyone hear us and see us on the screen?
Probably like 2 minutes old.
So leave us a comment. Let us know. Okay, Bob says yes. He can hear us. But now, Gene, I can't see you.
yeah, can you hear me though? Still?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay. I don't know if I guess let me try and completely drop Wi-Fi. but I don't. We have really good Wi-Fi here. That's why I'm not. I mean, we've got the solid internet. I don't know why we're having such a problem.
It's because we're trying to do live streaming.
Yeah, that must be. We're live streaming. That's exactly it.
So everyone says they can hear us.
Okay, that's good.
Well, we can now see. We can see your values.
Okay, good. Let me give the phone to Andrew here, and hopefully we'll keep this thing working.
Hopefully it'll work.
Okay. We good? Like
I think
we're actually good. Okay. All right. Well, finally, I'm sorry. What was that? Man, 16 minutes into when we should have started. So I'm good on time though. We can do whatever we need to do as long as you guys want to chat and any questions that you have. But Darren, I was kind of thinking we'll just do a quick run through the shop. And
Well, I
then
think first thing we
start.
could do is we should introduce who you are, because I don't know if
Yeah,
everyone knows who you are.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. So I'm Gene Hamzy. I am the founding owner of FireSprint. I'm the CEO. I started FireSprint, or at the time it was called Target Omaha Marketing, but I started printing in my parents' basement back in 2007. And so we've been able to grow every year. I have two partners who joined me like right away in 2008, Mark and James, and they're still around. All three of us are here like every day. And we've grown into what FireSprint is today. FireSprint is a trade-only printer. We do a lot of yard signs, a lot of stickers, decals, things like that for the trade. So we sell, in case that's not clear to everyone, I imagine a lot of people on here, you know what that is, but we sell to other printers, ad agencies, sign shops. The real qualifier is that you must be reselling the product as part of your primary product line to buy from us. So we really do everything we can to protect the trade. And that's a big part of what we are. We're based in Omaha, Nebraska. So we're like a 2 to 3 day ship to most of the country, even just ground. Fast turnaround times and high quality, and hopefully, we're doing a pretty good job. We've been able to grow every year since we've started. So it seems like our customers are holding on for us. So.
Well, so we're going to do just a quick tour then. And this is a new facility for you guys. So you guys moved in here I feel like it's been a few months, but it's probably been more than that. But
April 2022, was kind of our March. By April 2022, we were out of the old place and we were mostly just spending time setting up this place. So it is very new to us. We were in the space prior for about 10 years. And so it was all just broken apart and very old. And we're very proud of our new space now, which we'll show you. So any other questions while we're still out here before we go out on the shop floor? These are kind of our front offices here. Not a lot to see because we don't get any walk-in traffic.
Bob asks if you offer a fast and free Wi-Fi along with your fast and free shipping. But I think that's
fast and free Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, we have really good internet here. I mean, it's synchronous fiber. It's like we pay a ridiculous amount for it. Everything, and normally it's all fine. So I'm kind of surprised that this is an issue at all.
Well, but if you guys have questions while Gene is walking around, just feel free to ask them. If it's not relevant right now, we'll answer them at the end of the stream. If not, we'll answer it like an equipment question, and he can't show everything just because it is trade only and they're not going to reveal their customers just for their customer's sake. We talked about potentially printing the job that I submitted. Are you guys printing that, or is it already done?
I think it's already done. I really do. You just brought that up. I was thinking to myself, let's maybe hold it. But our standard production time on stuff like that, I think that was 100 yard signs, is next day. So it's probably in a box on its way to you already, would be my guess. So we're running a bunch of jobs. I do, please ask any questions you guys want to ask. We're a business. I'm a business person. Money related questions or anything like that. If I can't answer it, I'll just bow out and say I can't answer that question, or I don't know, or I'll look it up, or that's not something we're willing to share. But those questions are few and far between. I very rarely get a question where I at least can't answer it to some level. So please don't ask the question if it's on your mind. And if it's something that I can't answer, I'll just straight up say that you won't offend me or anything like that. So we're all in kind of business together, so we've got a lot to figure out. So
I think the last thing I need to mention, just because legally I'm supposed to, this video is sponsored by Firesprint. They're a great partner, not only with my business, but with the YouTube channel. There is a coupon code down in the description where you can save 10% off your first order. And it's been requested for me to be removed from the screen. So I'm going to remove myself temporarily while we go through the tour so people don't have to look at my ugly face. But thank you for the continued sponsorship, and let's have a tour. And again, if you have questions, just ask people. We'll get them answered.
yeah, absolutely. So this is our production floor. It's our main production floor. It's 13,500 square feet. I think my favorite thing about this production floor is the lights. We have consistent lights. You didn't really see there's some old videos of our old production floor, but there was just all different kinds of lights and everything else. This is one big white clean room. You can see it. It's climate controlled. So we just absolutely love it out here. But the first part, and really I would say the highest percentage of our sales, our bread and butter, is our digital production. So we've got our Vanguard printer and our Durst printer. That Durst is just a workhorse. We love it. We do a lot of corrugated plastic. You can see we are running some banner on it right now. But that's our rigid. That's corrugated plastic, polystyrene, PVC, for the most part, foam board. Those are the products that we run on the two digital flatbed printers. And we'll come down here. We kind of have the shop set up so there's a big highway down this way, and so this will fill up if we're working on a big kitting job or something like that. But it's also our spot for our forklift to come down and then refill the stock. There's inventory. I don't know if you can spin around, but all of our rigid inventory is back over here. And so not all of it, but this is what the operators will pull from when they need to fill the material. We'll bring in about between 1 and 2 truckloads of material at a time. Not necessarily all at once, but that's what we'll store on our floor. And then we have some boxes outside that we keep some more stuff in. This over here is our roll area. This is mostly sticker. We do tons and tons of sticker, and it's probably our fastest growing department. This is somebody calling you. What is that? Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. And that's why I was in airplane mode before, and we turned all that off to try and get more bandwidth. Anyway, this is sticker. We've got a Canon Colorado back there. We'll have to check and see. It may have jobs running on it, so maybe we'll have to try and get an angle to show you. We had a rough start with the Colorado, but we've really come to really appreciate it. It's very high quality. The print is amazing on it. And then we've got a Mamaki, which we don't really use anymore. It's a solvent printer. 2 laminators, 2 Graphtec cutters. They're constantly running, little die cut stickers, things like that. You guys are all pretty aware of. This here is our morning meeting area. We stop and have a morning meeting every day. We'll go over feedback from our clients. We go over improvements that we're making, things like that. And I can get into that in a little more detail. But we'll stand in a big circle here and stretch. There's almost 30 of us, and we do that every morning. Thank you. Andrew's doing a great job, I think. We got our cutters. Like I said, we got the Graphtecs. We use the FC9000s back there. We got the Patoba, and then our pneumatic barometer, which we love. Hiker, we like for that guy. We've got our 2 Zune cutters, which I would say are beasts and very, very rarely go down. But today, one of them is actually down. We've got the vacuum turbine on this guy, which we should get a new one today or tomorrow. And it's a quick swap, but we do have one Zune down. I think we could have live streamed every day for several years and never come across our Zunes being down, but today one of them is. But we're pretty slow right now, so we're pretty proactive about getting that set up and fixed. But the Zune cutters are incredible. If you guys haven't seen a flatbed cutter run, they are pretty amazing. We might be able to go over there and kind of see them run here in a minute. Come down this way. Our shop is about, I think it's 180 feet long, so it's pretty good length. We've got our 2 screen lines here. We screen print, almost exclusively screen print corrugated plastic. They're yard signs. We go from 12 by 18 up to a 24 by 36, and we'll do those all in generally in both flute directions. 24 by 18, of course, being the lion's share of the size. We'll screen print like 400,000 or 500,000 24 by 18s a year, so quite a few. across the two lines. It's all UV cured ink, so the ink is instantly dry. And they're operating. Screen gets crazy slow in the winter, but they've got a couple of jobs keeping them busy right now, so we're very thankful for that. And then coming down here is our shipping area. We've got Omar and Mark down there, and shipping is a huge part of what we do. About 85 to 90% of what we do actually goes out of the state of Nebraska. So we even ship within the state, which is a percentage of that, but outside the state of Nebraska, a huge percentage of what we do. We do have local pickup for our Omaha customers, but we're constantly shipping all over the country. And as I said earlier, we're a 2 to 3 day ground ship to most of the country. There are only like 2 states that are 4 days. And so that has really lent to us being a national trade-only printer quite well. And then we'll get into this a little bit more, but we're like actively switching our site over right now. Like as we speak, James is in there working on it to announce our free shipping over $49. So there are some details you can click on and get in there, but it's basically every product on our site. You add them to your shopping cart, you get over $49. Shipping is free. So it's a big thing that I don't think any of our competition is doing. And it should make it really, really easy for our clients to quote stuff out, price it out, and then save you some money not paying for that shipping. So that's kind of in a real brief nutshell there, but that was about 10 minutes, I think. Where should we go from here?
So this is the main production area that you have.
Yep.
I'm assuming you also have like a storage area, and then the front was like office area. Like how big is the whole building versus how big is production versus storage, etc.?
So the whole building is just under 20,400 square feet, I think, somewhere around 21,000 square feet. This is the majority of it. There are a couple of other little places we can look. I can show you. We've got some nice office areas. In terms of storage, the storage is, and we're kind of lean right now because it's winter. This is our slowest time of the year. But in terms of storage, I mean, we'll store along that wall. I don't know if you can get a good shot of that whole wall. You can kind of see it. We store along that wall. We can store almost a truckload of material along this wall, or more even. And then we store along the back wall. So we store in kind of an L shape. And then we've got a couple of other spots here that I'll tell you about. Is audio okay? Video? Everything good?
Yep, everything looks good.
Yep, good. So we've got, this is our dock area. So this is inbound and outbound freight. And so we have, pallets that are staged for shipping are right here. And then, so there's a little bit of space here. And then really one of the reasons why we bought this building, and we absolutely love it, the building's in great shape. It's a really nice building, but we've got room to expand. This is all our property here. We have a huge parking lot over here. And so, and then that, parking lot goes that way. And so we've got room to add like almost another 20, maybe 25,000 square feet to this space. So as we grow and as we get ready to expand, we'll build more on without needing to move again. So that'll be really nice. And then behind you over here, we just, as we get busy or slow, we've got this concrete pad here. Will you put your foot by the door there? As we get busy or slow, we got this concrete pad here, and we'll just line up, containers, shipping containers, and fill them up with whatever we need. And then we got the nice big overhead door where we just bring stuff in and out with the forklift. So, depending on the need, I think like spring of last year or summer of last year, we had like three. I guess we had 3 out here, so we've let 1 go. And so that just ebbs and flows with what we need to stock. Does that make sense?
Yep.
We'll go down here. We can go peek in the offices real quick. I'm kind of loud to be in the offices, while I'm talking, but we can go do that.
Well, one question we had, Ben was asking if you have any Canadian customers, if you ship to Canada. And
so we've had a hard time getting that like really nailed down. And so I will say it's certainly something we're going to do someday, but today we don't really mess with it. The challenge that we have is that there's so many tax jurisdictions with everything. And so since we don't sell through, since we sell wholesale and we're not selling through like a, what do you call it? Like an eBay or an Etsy or even Shopify, we have to like figure all that stuff out. And that's been a real challenge for us to be able to deal with the tax jurisdictions in Canada. But it's on our list. It's something we want to do. It's a growth opportunity for us for sure. But unfortunately, the answer to that right now is no.
All right, guys, make sure you keep your questions coming while we're doing the tour. We're happy to answer them. Or Gene is happy to answer them. I'll make him do it.
So this is our client services area. Andrew actually answers the phone, but he's on the other side of the camera right now. And then we have Sue and Ellen. Their little cubes are over there. Their desks. I say little cubes. They're pretty good sized desks anyway. And then we've got Andrew, Shelby, Derek, and they would be people who you talk to if we had issues with your files pre-flight. So if you've always sent us perfect artwork to size that was vector when it needed to be and everything else, you've never talked to these guys. So I'm just saying, but if there's an issue, we go through it and we work that out. So I don't know if you can kind of see down here, but we've got a pretty good row of offices here. And then in the front room, which we first started in, we've got like 8 more desks in there, including mine. So that makes sense.
Yep.
And then, I don't know if you guys are interested, we've got, I suppose if we're doing if it's actually a shop tour, I always assume everybody wants to see the equipment, but here's our break room. We've got a nice break room. And this was one of the things when we moved in here, we didn't have a proper break room at our old shop. Here we've got a proper break room. We were proud to buy 2 refrigerators. That was kind of a big deal. It's like, anyway, plenty of room for everybody. And then we have a proper conference room too. And so those were things that were kind of really nice that the building was kind of set up for when we moved in. And so we were able to maintain that. It's just nice for everybody. So let's go back out on the shop floor, I assume. And
with
go in
like the way that you run production, do you have everyone take breaks at the same time, or
no?
Is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't. We try to have, so like our goal is to have a primary operator on each piece of equipment, and then their shift leader or their manager also able to run that piece of equipment, so that when they take a lunch, the manager can step in and kind of cover that lunch if we're busy. If we're not busy, we just shut the equipment down, for lunchtime. So you guys all know in this business, there's all these ups and downs. And so, depending on the time of the year, but no, we don't, it's not really a factory like that where we sound a bell and everybody takes a 15-minute break. It's, if people need a break, they need a break, they go take it. And it's worked out pretty well for us. We've got a pretty dedicated team at getting the job done, and everybody here, I mean, they care about what they do, and so that helps, just keeping things rolling when they see that there's stuff to do.
Boy, I see Mark in the background. Is he even trained to run the equipment now?
Yeah, Mark is talking through. So we actually have a couple of managers. Our operations manager, Brian, he's out sick today, and then we've got our maintenance manager, and then our digital production manager, daytime, and digital production nighttime. All of them are at Zune in Wisconsin doing Zune training. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's almost base level training, but you're working with technicians who know all about the Zunes. And so we scheduled this several months ago for them to go during this time. And so when that happens, we get Michael and Mark out here, and they get a little more involved with the equipment, because our managers are basically all out. So it's us and then the guys who run the equipment all day long. So, but that makes for a good day to do a tour, because it's a little quieter around here.
So we have a couple of questions that popped up. Mike is asking if you have a pre-press department.
So Mike, so we call it pre-flight. So one thing I kind of learned about the printing industry is that everybody kind of does it their own way, and we always do it wrong. But we call it pre-flight. That was Andrew, Shelby, and Derek over there. They are verifying that artwork's gonna flow through our system correctly, double checking. A lot of times it's for us, it's dimensions and things like that, because we're not really spell checking or anything like that. And then they're preparing the files and nesting or imposing the files, setting up the files to print. So there's there's 3 people in there. 2 of them are, and then we have 4 overseas people that help us on the regular too, doing little minor adjustments and things like that. But the 3 people in there are also responsible for, Derek particularly is also responsible for a lot of our automation. So he's constantly working with Pit Stop and Switch, and then our website to get those files flowing as in an automated way as possible, which we're going to make some huge advancements on that this year, I think. We made some pretty big investments.
Bob is asking if you have a quality control department.
Yeah, so I've always believed that quality control is one of those things that everybody's responsible for. I don't like the idea of having and you know what, people can argue with me on this all day long, and they're not wrong, but I've never liked the idea of having somebody who is the quality control person, because I think what that does is that takes everybody else along the line, and it gives them the ability to kind of wash their hands of it and say, well, if it's bad, the QC guy will catch it, right? Well, and I could be wrong about that, but that's always kind of been my opinion or view on it. So anytime there's a quality issue, anytime we get feedback from a client that we call it improvement feedback, it's a quality issue feedback. Let's walk this way and be maybe a little quieter. We address it with everyone who was involved with that product, or with that shipment. And so, we try and figure out, was this an issue that happened in pre-flight? Did we do something to destroy the file in pre-flight, or was it something that happened in printing or cutting? And then we go and we talk to those operators about it so that they can address it, and they can look for those issues in the future. And so I guess that's my answer to that. I know people don't love to hear that, but I don't believe in it. I think it kind of degrades everything else if we put a stop at the end and give somebody all the power to stop the job. Everybody here can stop a job for quality issues. We have it happen all the time. Yesterday, we found a spelling error in a job, which isn't, technically on the books, not our responsibility, but it was actually our shop floor manager. We call him, he's responsible for changing light bulbs and keeping the building running and stuff like that. He walked by and said, "That's not spelled right," and he brought it in. We stopped the job because of that, and so that's what we try and encourage here. I hope.
So, along with that, an alternate question that I have is, how do you deal with customers? Because that's, I think, one of the big things in the industry is people, how do you deal with sending proofs? And because most of the time, you're a trade only printer, but for me, I send a proof. I had a job this week that they transposed a couple of letters, and I ran 24 pens and I threw them away and ran them again with the correct spelling after. I was like, "Hey, are you sure that this is how you want it spelled?" But how do you deal with the customers that get mad at you, or that you have to deal with where is your line of just redo it because versus no, our policy is we print what you sent us, talk to us about that.
I have a really long answer about this, and so there's several parts to this stuff. Okay, number one, our goal and what we try and do here at FireSprint is we try and make that initial contact with us the worst part, right? And so what I mean by that is we want to have all the rejection, all of the scare, all of the, if I don't do everything perfectly, FireSprint's going to mess it up. We want them to feel that way on the very beginning, right? So it's like your first interaction with us, we hope, is your worst interaction with us, and it just gets better from there. Now, I hope it's not bad, but that should be the minimum bar at that point. And then from there, we get better. And so how that applies to something like this is what we do, and I suggest everybody, I like doing business this way. What we do is we say, we're not going to fix it for you. There's not going to be any, you send us something, good in, good out, bad in, bad out, right? All that kind of stuff. And then we kind of get back to it and we're like, well, you sent this to us and you're, after it happens. So we try and prevent it from happening by making it sound like we're real hard asses. Excuse my language. And then honestly though, when we have a bad job, we try and work with our clients in any way we can to help rectify that. Now, so I wouldn't say there's a line. there's a conversation, and our team uses it all the time. It's like, we'll do whatever you think is fair, you know, and we'll look at a job. It happens every once in a while. Will there be a job that goes through our system? It's maybe $1,000 job, and it goes through our system, and like there was nothing we could have done that we would have known, you know, that we could have done to prevent this error from happening because the artwork was bad or something like that. And we look back on it and we'll kind of plead our case to the client and say, look, you know, this is what happened. However, we'll do whatever you think is fair at this point. We're your partner in this. We want to be a long-term partner with you. So what do we need to do to correct this? And that could be anything that we'll be willing to do. And the reason for that, I think, the reason why we treat stuff like that, the reason why we don't have hard lines, and the reason why we try and be, we try and work with everybody in a partnership is, well, I'll tell you the shallow reason. The shallow reason is that, you know, it's just not worth having negative publicity out there for $50, $100, whatever, and have somebody angry at us. Even if it wasn't our fault, have somebody angry at us for that. That's not worth it. That's the shallow reason. Now, the deeper reason, and the reason why we wake up in the morning, is because, you know, I was there. I started in my parents' basement, and I can remember job after job after job that I would do. I was excited. I get this big job. It's a $800 job that I'd get. I'm still working. You know, I've got my plastic desk table set up in my parents' basement, and I've got this $800 job. If that job goes bad, I'd send it to a vendor to print. We outsource. You know, I'd send it to a vendor to print. And if something happened with that, if that went bad, you know, that was my nut. I wasn't going to make my car payment that month. I was going to struggle, right? And we recognize that so many of our clients are that way, and you know, they're very small, is what I mean by that. And so it's like, I just can't do it. I can't leave somebody out to dry, even if they, you know, made a mistake. So that's why we'll try and work with them. There may not be any profit in that job, but you know, after you work with us to resolve it, but we can usually come up with a plan where, you know, everybody can kind of survive from it, if that makes sense. So it's a conversation. So I hope that answers the question. That was a long answer, but
yeah, I think that was great. Next question. Someone asked, why is your company named Fire Sprint?
Okay, so Fire Sprint, we were called Target Omaha Marketing. And so we're in Omaha, Nebraska. So Target Omaha, Target the marketing, that's easy, right? And we decided in about 2008, 2009, we started dabbling in wholesale. We really liked the idea. And so what we did was we took our wholesale connections. We had like a contract printer that was running screen printing for us and stuff like that. We took those connections, we took those prices, we made them into wholesale prices, and we kind of tested. We sent out price lists to local sign shops and things like that. And it really took off. People were pretty interested in buying from us wholesale. And so we didn't actually buy our first piece of major printing equipment until 2010 when we bought one of our screen lines. But anyway, so we dropped the name marketing because it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense because we're a wholesale printer now, because as we kind of grew from 2009 into 2010. And then, so we were just called Target Omaha for a long time. And then eventually we got to a point where it's like, well, this doesn't make any sense. So I was sleeping, and a dream came to me that I was registering the name firesprint.com. It's so geeky, but like I was typing it into GoDaddy, and it came up as available. And so I woke up, that was a Saturday night. I woke up Sunday morning and I checked, and it was available. And so then I went into the office on Monday morning, and I told James and Mark, who I think it was just the three of us at that time, I'm like, we need to change our name to Fire Sprint. What do you think? And they both loved it. It was like one of the only major decisions that we've ever made that we didn't like bicker and fight about for a while. And so we changed it. We changed it that day. But it came to me in a dream is the short answer to that. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any other questions that we haven't answered. So make sure you guys ask any of your other questions. I have
if we can, let's walk over towards the printers. Well, you go ahead and ask your question, Darren, and then we'll see if we can get some views of some of this stuff. We have, what's it called? DNS. We have DNS pretty bad here too. We love buying equipment, but you know, fortunately we're able to run it pretty well most of the time. So do you have a question, or you want me to talk about the DERS a little bit?
Go ahead and talk about the DERS, and just remind everyone to ask your questions. We'll get them answered, and I'll ask my question in a minute.
So they call this a hybrid printer. If you don't know anything about it, Durst is probably one of the best names in the business. Very solid equipment. It just runs and runs and runs. It's such a workhorse. So they're actually built in northern Italy or Austria. They have kind of a factory on the border there. We got this machine first in 2018, and then we actually swapped it out once for, that was a whole big long story. But so this machine is in the 4.5 years we've been running it, I think we've been down for 2 or 3 days, and we run it for 20 hours a day, 5 days a week. So even in the slow season, it'll run that much. So very solid piece of equipment. And that's the majority of like the yard signs and things like that. They'll print on this guy. So we really have a lot of fun keeping that going. That was a big investment for us. It was about $500,000 when we bought it.
It looks like you have a camera with connected to a TV on top of it. Like, what's that?
Yeah. So because it's a hybrid machine, because material flows through the machine, you can't see the other side, obviously. And so what we do is we set cameras up on both sides of the equipment. We've got these nice 50-inch screens where you can actually live view the operator on the other side of the machine, or you can see what's coming out. And so it just depending on the side of the piece of equipment or the side of the equipment you're on, it allows you to see what's going on the opposite side. And so it makes things a little bit safer, but generally just a little more efficient. Rather than having to run around the front of the machine to see if something cleared the edge or something like that, you just look up at the camera.
What kind of cameras are you using to do that?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. They're closed circuit. Like I don't think they're even IP they're plugged in to the TV. It's a closed circuit, like RCA type jack camera. Very, very basic, like old school security camera type thing. Yeah. And so they stay on all the time. They run. There's nothing to restart. Very basic, very simple. Yeah. So if there's a lot of people who want to know how to do that, I can get a list of all the equipment that we do, and we can link to it on Amazon or something. But I think, not including the TVs, you can look up your own TVs, but not including the TVs, we probably have a couple $100 in it. It's nothing crazy.
Well, Bob prefers the Marco Polo method, so.
The what method?
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo. Yeah. That's funny. Those are Colorado. If you guys haven't seen a Colorado run, they're a lot of fun. We've got live jobs running on it right now, so I can't really show you the print, but they have both a gloss and matte mode. Very nice piece of equipment, really high quality, really durable ink. So our gloss stickers are actually not laminated, and you can't even hardly tell because the ink is so durable and so well done. Now, those are small stickers that we run. We run them on a thicker material, and so it works out really well. And so we'll run our sticker material and everything else through this. Just about everything else runs through the Durst or the Vanguard printer, flatbed printer over there. So let's walk. Play a little more. We've got some graphics here. Andrew's going to try and avoid them. Love the 2 GraphTech cutters. I think we're wearing one of them out, but in a shop like ours, again, running these probably run an average of between 15 and 20 hours a day. And so I think, my expectation is we're going to get a couple of years out of them before we need to sell them off and replace them. So when we sell them off, we'll say all that, because their alignments start to go, things start to loosen up a little bit when you run them that much. And so we'll tell people about it, sell them off, and get new ones here pretty quick. I think one of them is kind of due for replacement. But
you use the barcode automation on the 9000?
Yes. We're using the barcode to pull up the cut file. So it's one of these things. We could have Derek talk for 9 hours about all this stuff, but we use a barcode both on the GraphTechs and the Zune cutters. We'll use a barcode to pull a cut file. So you can see there, the yellow cable is network access. So we'll put our whole, we put all of our print and cut files on a network server, and then the machines pull the files as they need them, basically. So there's more to it than that I don't even understand anymore. I used to know how all of it worked, and as a company grows, I've got to let some stuff go and trust that the team is doing it. And the stuff, every time I walk out here, it's running. So
what do you know? What RIP software you guys are running right now to manage
mostly
everything?
mostly Onyx. We use Onyx on the Colorado and the Graphtex. The Durst is actually Durst Workflow, so it's their own rip. We've used Caldera with the Durst before. The Vanguard is Onyx. So we just have the two rips. We have Onyx and then the Durst rip. And then our MIS system's all custom built FileMaker, which we're rebuilding right now because we've been running the same one for about 4 years and we've got some room for improvement. So we're rebuilding that currently. And then our website is on Print Shop. And then of course we use Tilia Phoenix for our nesting software. And then which we just invested in. That was $50-some thousand. And then Pitstop Pro, Pitstop Server, and Switch. And between all of those pieces of software, we get everything to kind of talk. And like our shipping's pretty automated. We scan a barcode, pull up the shipping label, and ship it. There's no typing of data or anything like that. So we could maybe do a desktop sit-down live stream where we go over some of that maybe a little bit in the future. I don't know how boring that would be, but if anybody's interested in that, speak up.
Decide.
Yeah. So these are our Zune cutters. So there's really, in terms of the technology between the two machines, there isn't that much different. You need to pull a job? You can pull a job. We'll just angle this way a little bit. You'll be okay. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. Alex was telling Nene he's like, they're on a live stream. So they're all very aware of, when we got video out here going, that they can't be showing artwork and things like that. Everybody, they understand pretty well what we do. We talk about it constantly, about who our clients are and the fact that we're trade only. But anyway, the Zune cutters work a lot like the Graphtec cutters, except, it's a big flatbed table. But they use, this is good because you can't see what this is. Nobody knows what this is, except for the client who maybe bought this from us. But these are magnets here. So we actually run permanent vinyl and we stick it to magnetic material. I don't love that process. We want to improve it, but that's our current process for magnetic. But these, we'll see this. You can pull up the cut file? Yeah, cut. Go ahead. That's a good one. We're fortunate that you can kind of show that one cut. But you'll see he's going to scan the barcode into our software here. And so on the right is Lumen, which is our home-built FileMaker tool. And then on the left is, I don't know, is there anything? I don't see anything on that screen that's a problem. Okay. And so on the right is Lumen, and then on the left is the Zune cut center there. And so we've got a barcode like scanner splitter where it pulls up the job in both. These are two different PCs here. It pulls up the job in both PCs at the same time. And then, so you can see it's a very simple cut file. Now this will cut anything, any kind of circle shape, anything like that. But we happen to be cutting rectangles here, radius cornered rectangles. And he's going to use the camera. I don't know if you can see this. There's a camera on the screen here, and you can find that registration dot in there. So he's going to find that registration dot, and then go ahead. Yeah, let that run. And then back up so you can see it, finding all the registration dots. There's not that many. It finds those registration dots. It actually adjusts the file however it needs to adjust it. This could be 45 degrees off. It'll fix itself. And then we're just using it's a carbide razor blade to cut that magnet out. And so that's one job that we're cutting out right there with a ridiculous amount of waste, which is something we've talked about. And so that's cut. He'll pull that out. And we'll pack that up and ship it off.
So now that you've kind of separated the magnet from the barcode and the file name and whatnot, how do you keep track of it at that point? Do you have like a paper that flows around with it? Do you have is your barcode printer? Where's it going to print to? So we're going to print a job label here, and it's going to come out over here. We've been having a lot of problems with these Zebra. These ran these EP450 CTPs. These lasted a long time for us, but they seem to be kind of fighting. You see, I've got a funny graphic here, which is something that we got to deal with. But that's the job. And then
That's the job. And then there's, okay, there we go. That's the job. That's the information there, and we'll track that barcode, or that will stay. Now we've differentiated the yellow labels. They're highly removable, and so they can actually stick the yellow labels right to the job. We have white labels that are permanent. Those are for shipping labels and things like that. But this will just peel, and we can stick it. Stick it right to the job like that, and that's how we track that through our system in the shop. And so shipping will scan the barcode that's on there, and it'll pull the job up in Lumen again, and then they can, they'll define the box and then print the shipping labels. It's 2 or 3 clicks, 4 clicks for them maybe to do that. Was that? We got lucky. We have a job that we can show here, so I guess that worked out. But any other questions about that specifically, or anything else? Go look at screen printing maybe a little bit.
How do you deal with the amount of boxes you need to ship product?
Boxes are, they're like the bane of my existence. So we can go over. So we got a couple of things that we do. We have 3 box suppliers we work with. We've got a really good local supplier that stocks standard size boxes, and they stock a lot of them for us. We work with Uline, like everybody on the planet seems to, a lot. So Uline's great because they've got everything, and it's the next day ship, and they ship them to us for free. If we got to spend X dollars and they pay the shipping, so that's nice. And then we've got a custom box manufacturer that's actually like one town over, and they've got really high quality, good price on custom size boxes. So all of our corrugated plastic, like yard sign boxes, they're all custom run to fit 100 signs or 50 signs or whatever, and they're just a little bit oversized. The signs fit nicely in there, and so we'll stock. So I can come over here a little bit, and again, we're running lean right now because it's winter, but we'll stock. Some of our more common sizes, we'll buy pallets of them. And the less common sizes, we'll buy bundles of them. And then we've got, you can see above Omar here, we've got these box racks that Omar set up above the 2 stations here. And so, we've got 8 or 9 boxes that we're using all the time. And then, so they're pulling off the rack, and then they'll refill that during our morning meeting time every morning. They restock those. And so they do a pretty good job of keeping those stocked up. But I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of what's going on. We it's a real challenge because we'll get a job, where we've got to ship, say, 200 boxes, and it's a real pain if we have to make a bunch of custom boxes for that. And so we'll go to Uline and see if we can find one and order them. And oftentimes we'll have to order 250 or something like that. And so then you've got those extra boxes you're trying to chew through. So that's what makes boxes they're challenging for everyone, because not only do you have different size products, but you have different quantities of different size products. So it's just kind of a constant fight. But we've got our standards that we stock, and we try really hard to just order exactly what we need when we can. And that's why having the 3 different vendors helps out a lot.
Would you ever consider doing box manufacturing on the fly for your products?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the reason. There's a kind of a short reason why we don't do that. Our bottleneck, so the theory of constraints and manufacturing, things like that, you get into it. If you ever want to read a book, it's called The Goal. Our managers are reading it right now. But our capacity, for the most part, is, at least in digital production, is limited by our cutting ability. And so most of the time we can outprint what we can cut. And so to add box cutting into that already bottleneck process will allow us to ship less, right? And so that's why we don't do it. It's something we've talked about. It's something that, we've wanted to do. And we may in the future, if we've got, 6 Zoom cutters just kind of sitting idle, we run boxes. And I know a lot of companies do that. But we've just found that we can produce more if we just keep a good relationship with our box suppliers and get boxes as we need them at size. So
another question that came up from Bob is, everything you do screen or digitally printed, or do you do any cut vinyl?
no, so aside from kiss cutting white vinyl or kiss cutting colors, that everything we stock is white except for some yellow corrugated plastic for screen printing. Everything we stock is white, and so we'll run solid colors for you and kiss cut stuff out if you need that. But no, other than that, that's we don't weed, we don't mask, and then we don't run any thermal or anything like that. It's all inkjet or screen print.
And then Mike asks, do you have any plans to go to flat sheet products like postcards, flyers, etc. in the future?
No, I don't see us getting into that. I would say that, aside from just doing a lot more of what we're doing and really pushing hard on sticker, I think sticker is a really big growth opportunity for us, because our mission with sticker is to help our clients compete with the big online printers, Sticker Mule and Sticker Giant, those guys. And we can do that. I think we're happy with the margins we get by giving our clients you can double our pricing, and you're pretty competitive with some of those guys on sticker. We're pretty happy with that. And so I think that's a big part of our growth. I would say, if I'm just kind of like shaking the crystal ball, I would say dye sublimation is where our clients would push us into more, or even roll label, but probably not. Probably more dye sublimation would be. That's our competitors are doing more dye sublimation than anything. And so we see that as an opportunity, but we don't have the room to add anything like that here today. We're still trying to get good at the handful of things that we do. We're getting better at it.
So you mentioned that you guys have DNS, just like most people in the print van. Are there any pieces of equipment at your shop currently that you no longer use because it was a bad decision, or you went a different direction, or it didn't do what you wanted it to do? What was a poor decision, and then what are some things that you're looking at buying?
Yeah. So I think so we've got a 63-inch mega coat. It's a Tech Lighting UV coater back there behind me. And that was one of those things that we bought it, and we had really high hopes to UV coat, put a gloss coating on top of everything. And the machine it was $100,000. And it just fought us and fought us and fought us. And so it really got to a point where we never got good at quick setups and teardowns, and really keeping it running very smoothly. And so we'll use it to coat ACM if we run long runs. We don't really offer ACM, aluminum composite, on our website, but we'll use it to coat that. So we still have it sitting there for those purposes. But that's probably my most regretful major purchase. I mean, we buy little stuff all the time. It's like, that didn't work. We've messed with different heat welders and things like that have really become a pain. But I would say, for the most part, I think we've done a pretty good job of purchasing equipment and utilizing it. The Mamaki is not something that runs. That was a $22,000 printer. And we actually liked the Mamaki. It was a pretty good running machine, but we had a real hard time getting it to run well with Onyx. And so it's I don't remember the name of the Mamaki RIP, Rasterlink maybe. It runs well on Rasterlink, but we have a hard time automating with Rasterlink, and we can automate with Onyx a lot easier. And so for us, that's a big thing. It's like, it might be a good piece of equipment, but if we can't get it to fit into our workflow, it doesn't work for us. And so we had the same issue with Summa, the Summa cutters. We really liked our Summa cutters, but the Graphtex integrate with our workflow a lot better. And so I can't really talk to that. I can't explain what the issue was, because it wasn't me, but I've got a couple of people here that are really good at what they do. And they came to me and they said, we can't get this to work right. And so we tried the Graphtex and we got it to work like that. And so we switched over. So those would be the issues that we've had. Are they bad pieces of equipment? No, even this Tech Light, this Mega Coat. I mean, if we were running it constantly and we got really good at it and got our learning curve down, I think it'd be a good piece of equipment too. So I think we're pretty fortunate here in the States. You buy name brand equipment, it's usually pretty good stuff. You just, whether or not you can get it to fit into your workflow and you know, it suits your business need is more of a challenge.
So what's something that you're looking at expanding equipment wise or changing? Or I know you mentioned that the draft techs are just getting old because of use, so you might just get new ones. But
that's hardly that's a consumable thing, you know, which I wouldn't think and I hesitate to say that, because if somebody like who loves their draft tech or somebody from the company is watching, we love them. We absolutely love them. We run the heck out of them. And so for a $8,000, $9,000 piece of equipment, you're running constantly for 2 or 3 years. They start to, that happens to everything, right? So, and it also could be something we're doing wrong, but it seems like it's wearing out. So we've got that. We are looking at potentially swapping out. We really like, a shout out to Digitech out of Texas. We really like their flatbed printers. And so there's some opportunities there. But like I said, our bottleneck really is in cutting. So we haven't really moved the bottleneck back to printing yet. So, you know, it doesn't make sense for us to switch out to those yet. But they've got some automation with the print cut combo on a true flatbed. You can look them up, but essentially they put a conveyor on the back of the cutter and they'll push boards not off the back of the printer. So if you kind of imagine like the Vanguard over here, they'll run both sides on the true flatbed, and then the Digitech printer will pull that board off the back of it'll pull it off the back of the cutter onto a conveyor, if you can imagine that, and that conveyor could feed right into the cutters. And so there's a lot of advantages to that. There's a lot, you know, if you get into flow theory and things, that having the machines kind of tied to each other so they're operating at the same speed, there's generally increases in productivity for that. So we think that's really cool, but you know, we're not quite ready to do something like that today. And so there's some challenges to overcome, and not to mention you're talking about a print cut combo with them. It's, you know, you're bouncing way over $500,000. So it's not a simple decision to make. And then, we're always looking at basic stuff, little things. We're going to replace all of our label printers. I'm pointing at a label printer over here that you can't see. We're going to replace all of our label printers here pretty soon, switch out from the Zebras EP450s to, I can't remember the name of the replacement, but there's a really solid replacement on the market that's actually in stock, and the Zebras are not. And we have like 6 of those all around our shop, and they're starting to go out. That's not real exciting, is it? I wish but that's kind of where we're at. And then, yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good to, like, this last year I had a really big DNS problem, and it's like I need to settle down. I need to work on the, like, quote unquote boring things. Like, I need to work on the automation and getting things done. Like today I realized I did the same thing over and over in Illustrator. So today I wrote an Illustrator strip. Like, super boring, but to me it's going to save tons of time and a lot of problems. So sometimes it's okay to just, like, step back and take those looks at things.
Well, I would say we are going to invest, we have and are going to invest probably the equivalent of about $200,000 in software, this year, with our update to our FileMaker system, a new inventory system that attaches to that. It's kind of part of that. We still use QuickBooks, which has been really good for us. And then, all the automation on the front end, the changes to our website too, so that we get better files uploaded from our clients, so that when they upload the file, we can address more issues sooner. Our theory on that is, if there's a problem with your artwork, you want to know about it as soon as humanly possible, right? Well, if we can have the website detect that and give you the issues that we might see with the artwork, then, it's just a lot easier for you to address it. What stinks is you'll send us a file and then you'll go on your way and go maybe off to an install or start working on another job. And then you get an email from us 2.5 hours later saying, hey, this artwork's not going to fly. Well, you stepped up from your desk, you're working on something else, maybe you've gone home for the night. And so now we're delaying those. So we want to push all that as far forward as we possibly can for the best client experience.
So I guess with
those are big investments.
Those software things, someone asks if you have any integrations available for e-commerce platforms like Shopify, Etsy, eBay, or is that maybe something that you're going to add? Like, I know you mentioned trying to be more competitive in the sticker space. So is that something that there's going to be some potential automation or integrations available?
No, I'm going to say don't hold your breath for us to do that. It's something that we're thinking about constantly and we want to do. But in terms of a direct integration with us, that's probably not going to happen this year for 2023. But it is something we talk about regularly and we'd like to do. And so one of the keys for us, one of the reasons, and it's why we're changing our pricing to have the free shipping. We've done more than just offer free shipping on everything. We've really, on our end, we've simplified our pricing structure greatly. So I would say we used to have about 150 or 200 rules on how things would price and the formula to price out all the different materials and jobs. We've probably down about a third of that now. And so this isn't stuff you would see logging into our website, but it's stuff the website is calculating on the back end and things like that. And so simplifying that is going to allow us to integrate with other platforms more. And so that was a key step. And so that's a big reason why we're doing that, as well as to just make it easier for our clients just logging into our site and ordering.
Makes sense. Do you guys currently have an API that people can like write their own stuff with, or?
No, we could talk if you wanted to use On Print Shop as your provider for your website, which there are a lot of people out there that do, then we could they could work with us to give you copies of our products, that you could load and then probably make some sort of connection to make it easy to push stuff into our service. On Print Shop also integrates with Pour Over and a couple of the other big ones that, I hate to admit that because they're a direct competitor for our products, but we could work that out, but it would be a pretty specific thing that we're doing together. I don't have like an API that I can hand somebody or that we're currently integrated with anybody at the moment, but it is on our radar for sure.
I'm not a big sports fan, but someone is asking Bengals or Chiefs.
Chiefs, we're the 2.5 hour drive from Kansas City. So I don't, I'm not either, not a big sports fan, but I mean, I've been to Chiefs games before. It's a lot of fun. Very loud there. Yeah.
So I like to talk numbers, and I know some of these you may or may not want to answer, but can you tell us what revenue you did last year?
Last year, we were right about 6 million gross revenue.
Do you have a new goal for this year?
6 million again. So there's a lot of things that happen. We're actually goals a little higher than 6 million. And so we budget based off of what we expect to sell. And first of all, we're going into a non-political year, so an odd year. We're still trying to get all of our automation stuff set up. So we're going to be messing with that a lot this year. And then focusing on client experience, really making it very easy for people to do business with us. And then, the economy is doing funny things out there. And so rather than setting goals and targets for 7 or 8 million, which I think we could probably hit if we really pushed for it, we set it for 6, and we said we're going to keep our expenses low and make sure we're preserving cash and really kind of see how the year kind of starts off. So for us, we make our nut in the spring, and we'll know more, come May, June. We'll have a better feel for what the year's going to do at that point. But right now it's just slow. And so, we set it kind of low. But we have grown every year since we started. Some years it's very little, 2%, something like that. But we've never had a year where we didn't grow. So we want to get to 6.01 million this year.
So you mentioned originally that you're the founding partner, but there are 2 other people that are like owners as well.
Yeah, Mark and James.
What is your feeling on partnerships? Because I know some people love them, some people hate them, some people have mixed feelings. Like your group of 3, and I know yours would be a caveat of I would say a little bit harder just because James is your brother. But for someone that is potentially looking at doing a partnership, I guess, how do you feel about it, or what advice would you give to make sure that, I guess, it works?
patient persistence, I think, is important. I think, you know, it's our partnership works. So we've been partners for 14 years, right? And our partnership works. I believe it works because we hash things out, we talk it out. We're not afraid to fight. We're not afraid to argue. Sometimes we argue in front of employees, and we shouldn't do that. But you know, I think it's really important that you kind of find your style and you find who's good at what, and then you hash it out. And sometimes that means butting heads and raising voices and all that stuff. I mean, I'd like to say that, you know, you wouldn't do that, but I think that that's what works for us, because we don't, I don't know, to compare it to a marriage, you know, you don't go to bed angry, right? Like you figure it out and you keep working until you do. Partnerships fail when, I believe, when two people, you know, or your partners, you disagree on something and you decide to stop fighting about it, right? The fight is value. The fight means you care. If my partner is at me screaming about something, you know, if James is at me screaming about something silly I did or something, even I think it was good, it means he cares about it, right? And so I've got to remember that. Even though he's saying stuff that's making me mad, he cares. And that's why he's going off on me or whatever. And vice versa. And I think they recognize that too. It doesn't mean that you can't give space. I mean, it's not like sometimes we chase each other around the building the way we shouldn't, but like you need to give space, but you need to come back to that point. And you need to recognize that. So work your stuff out, I think. If you can do that, that's important. And then we all have our unique strengths too, which I think could really help. The stuff that Mark can do with, like, I'll tell you, I bounce checks maybe twice a month. And then Mark joined as a partner, and we've never bounced a check in 14 years. So, like, that just gives you an idea of how good he is at just keeping everything maintained and the day-to-day, keeping it operational and having a both not only a bird's eye view, but like a micro view of all the finances and what's going on, where the money's spent. Why did we spend $13 here and stuff like that? I mean, Mark will get into that stuff, and, you know, I'll glaze over it. And so that's really important. And then, you know, James will be cool-headed and calm when the two of us are going at it, and vice versa. I might be able to stay calm when Mark and James are going at it. That really helps. Maybe having three is part of the key. I don't know. But and then I own the majority share of Fire Sprint, but I don't think I have. I don't believe I've ever outvoted them, right? So if the two of them come to me, technically on paper they can't outvote me, but if the two of them come to me and say, you know, Gene, you're wrong, this is the vote, I have learned that I have to accept that. It doesn't happen very often where we'll gang up on one other person, you know, in any direction. But when it does, it's important that we kind of accept that. That's kind of the vote. That's the way we're going, because we can't really come to an agreement. So, yeah, I hope I'm not rambling too much, but
no, I think it's good information, and it helps.
Yeah,
it helps people not only in business but in personal. Bob's saying tell his wife that, because she can't go to bed unless she is angry. But I think that kind of, for the most part, wraps up the tour. I know we're willing to do some other videos explaining some more stuff in detail, but does anyone else have any other specific questions for Gene or anyone else on the Fire Sprint team, or even myself, that we can answer kind of before we wrap up the live stream?
So while you're waiting for those questions, I will say, you know, my email address is gene@firesprint.com, GENE. So if you need to email me, you know, I'm available. That's a good way to get a hold of me. I check it constantly. Don't send me an order or an order status update or anything like that, because I'm not good at that kind of stuff. We've got a team of people who do that. But if you've got a question about how, you know, how our business operates, or, you know, anything like that, or integrations, things, I can help with that and get the people involved. So any further questions, or reach out to Darren, and he'll certainly get a hold. He knows how to get a hold of me. And then, of course, firesprint.com or 888-509-7446, 888-509-SIGN. You can call, and you'll talk to one of our fantastic reps, and they'll give you my email address too if you've got a question. I don't really have a desk phone that you can transfer to, but shoot me an email and we'll talk.
If you want, I'll text you Gene's cell phone number so you can bug him anytime.
Anytime.
ProColor is asking if you do in-person tours if someone's in the area.
Yeah, if you can, if you can give us a little bit of time, depending on how busy we are, we try to accommodate those. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll kind of stand over in the area and we'll talk. I can't bring you through the shop because it's too much to cover up. But I mean, I had to do this, for example. We got yellow sheets all over all kinds of stuff, which I think Andrew's probably tried to avoid anyway. You haven't seen a lot of that, but we have to cover up the artwork because we don't own the artwork. So that's the challenge with that. But that being said, if you are planning on being in the area, reach out and we'll see if we can't set something up so you can at least see some of the shop and kind of go from there. And if we're slow, it makes it a lot easier. So in the winter is a good time to do that. But you know, yeah, we'll do everything we can to accommodate. So we've actually, speaking to that, we've actually had clients bring their customers. So we call you guys clients, the people who work with us, and the people who buy from you, we call them customers, right? And so we've had clients bring customers in. So we had a local printer bring a bank in, representative from the bank. They wanted to talk about, you know, switching all their business over, and they do a whole bunch of stuff in house, but they don't do the wide format stuff. And so they brought them in, and we sat down in a conference room, and we showed them kind of some spots in the shop so they could actually see where the stuff was being made. That was all local. But, you know, if we can accommodate in a way like that, we will. I'm not saying we can always do that, but we'll certainly try. An email to me is a good place to start with those kinds of things.
So Bob is saying that he's definitely going to use you more and that my coupon code is for the first time use. And James responded saying that once you're a customer, you'll get emails with coupons. But I'm going to put you guys on the spot and ask if we could maybe do a little discount code for those that were on the live stream.
Yeah,
Could we do a little?
Yeah, is James messaging? We got to set something up. Let's do TTMS live stream. Give us 24 hours to get that going. And so we'll let you do another 10% run. So Darren's coupon code, the TTMS coupon code that's the best coupon code we offer. There's no other way to get any sort of a discount better than that, unless you're doing a huge volume of something and you call us for a custom quote. That would be, and those custom quotes start about $5,000, just to give you an idea. So it's a really good coupon code. But we'll do TTMS live stream. So if you're watching this, you can grab that, and we'll do another 10% cycle on that. That'll expire in a couple of months or something. So use it.
Okay. There you go, Bob. You don't get what you don't ask for.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We want to be your partner. We want to work with you. I mean, that's what we do every day. So, I mean, if you need something, ask. We're getting better at staying in our lane and, you know, really understanding, okay, we're good at that. We want to do that. That's not really something that we can do to help you out. We're not good at that. We're getting better at that as we grow. But I mean, I still remember waking up and going downstairs, you know, or working out of my parents' basement and you know, those jobs, I'd have 3 jobs to work on that day and what that felt like and the nervousness that you get when you've got a big one, the excitement and the nervousness and all of it all at once. You know, I remember those emotions very clearly, and we want to be a part of that for you guys out there when, you know, you have those opportunities.
So another question that I remember, so you are trade only. So you typically, like, you're partners with like PPAI, Sage, ASI, Distributor Central. How does that all work? Like, is that just like, do you have to pay a portion of the sale? Do you just pay a fee to be members? Like, how does that? So
for the most part, they're all some sort of flat or annual fee. There's no percentage of the sale or anything like that. So ASI, to be an ASI supplier, I don't remember what it is. It's, you know, $200 a month, something like that. I haven't looked at it for a long time. Distributor Central, I think, is free to list your products initially, but they want to charge you to kind of get more involved with them. Sage is $500 a year or something like that. James would know better than me on that if he's on the chat. But yeah, we pay to be a part of those networks, to be a supplier status as part of those networks, and we list our products with their databases, basically. In terms of on the distributor side, on your guys' side, buying from us, when you're a member of one of those organizations, it really helps us with our qualifying process. So if you send us an email from a Gmail account and you don't have a website, and there's like no way for us to verify that you're a member of the trade, it makes it really challenging. And then you give us an ASI number that we can verify. Well, okay, now we know that knowing what ASI is or PPAI or something kind of helps us connect the dots and verify that you're a member of the trade. So that's always useful. But in terms of working with us, they get no additional discounts or anything like that. We really try to just put our best foot forward. You go to our website, that's the best pricing we can offer, especially on jobs less than a few $1,000s.
Everyone is saying thank you for the coupon. But then another question is, on average, like how many boxes or packages do you ship a day?
Good question. We ship probably an average of about 125 boxes a day. That varies quite a bit. Right now, we're probably in the 80s or 90s. I think we shipped 80 something last night. And then, as we get busier, later in the week, we've got a 600. So we're doing a split ship for a client where we're sending we do styrene with easel backs. So it's just 8.5 by 11, like desktop card. And we're shipping those to 580 different locations all over the United States. So that'll be a big day in terms of number of packages going out. But, 125, 150 a day, pretty common.
So does your website allow for that split ship easily, or is that kind of a thing where it's a custom, is this something we can do?
Yeah, that was a custom quote. We set that up. And we do that all the time, actually. But again, it kind of I think our SOP, like in writing, is $2,500 before we start like messing with that. Otherwise, you can always go to our website and place an order, to ship to that address, and place an order to ship to that address. But on those larger ones, they get complex. Oftentimes we're kidding where we're putting 2 of this and 3 of this and 1 of this in a box and shipping it, to that location. That kind of stuff you need to talk to us about how to set those up, and we can do those. We do them. I would say we do like 1 a week, like that. It's not every single day, but we do them, and we're happy to do them if we can, if they, match our product line.
Well, James is saying that the coupon code is already live.
Good.
So it's TTMS live stream, all one word, no spaces.
Probably all caps too, I would assume. Capitalization.
James can answer that
with our coupon code. Yeah, we'll make sure to answer that. Yeah, I would try it all caps. If it's not all caps, we'll fix it on our end so it's all caps. So that's generally how we do them.
And then Bob's asking for a friend, which I'm assuming that friend is me. How many lasers is too many lasers?
How many? I can't answer that. We don't even have one, so I would say that we probably don't have enough. So we've got.
I agree with that statement. I agree with that statement.
We need more, but no, I think that's why people get into this business. That's why sign shops start up. That's why people get into printing, because it's manufacturing, right? It's American manufacturing. We call ourselves printers, but we're little factories. And what? It's not case sensitive. James just came out and yelled, "It's not case sensitive." Anyway, so either way, but we're that's why we do it. We do it because we want to buy equipment that like makes stuff, right? And so the more stuff. More equipment you have, the more you feel like you can accomplish, and the more you can do. So, I don't know. I think we all have the syndrome you talk about. So,
I have one last question, and we'll see if anyone else has any questions. But as of today, like, what is the biggest pain point that you have, and what are you doing to try to solve it? Like your job, like not the company, like under your like task list, like what is your biggest pain point right now? Because James is going to have his own pain point, or Omar and shipping's going to have his own pain point.
Well, I'm pretty sure Andrew's
like
on the camera. His pain point right now is his arms are completely numb because he's holding it. Is that helpful if we walk around a little bit? So my pain point. So I write there's a couple, I would say. I wrote Lumen, which is our FileMaker MIS system that tracks jobs through the system. It combines batches, prints all the little labels that we see, prints our shipping labels, all that stuff. Rebuilding that has been, I hesitate to call it a pain point because I enjoy it, but I mean, I've been working on it for a year, and it's like just thousands of hours I have to put into it to get it rebuilt and working. So that's a huge thing. Not, it's not a, yeah. I don't know that I have a lot of, I enjoy what I do. So it's like pain isn't the right word. The other challenge, I'd say the challenges, the things that are like, I'm like, I got to beat this, those feelings. The other one, and it's continuous. I'm not, you know, I like doing this kind of stuff, but I'm not really a showman. And so to like get everybody like riled up when we're doing something like announcing this big new free $49, you know, free shipping on $49 thing and stuff, and getting everybody on the same page, that's a constant goal of mine, a mission of mine to get our whole team on the same page, working together, making sure that we, you know, we're all like giving it our all to our clients. That's huge. You know, making sure we're getting the most out of our time here. It's just kind of constant. But I don't know. I'm having fun, so it's tough for me to. It's something where I tap dance into work every day. I'm excited and grateful that I come and work with everybody here every day.
So I guess a follow-up question then for mostly people on the live stream. You're launching this new free shipping over $49.
Yep.
You've got 26 people right now that are watching. Like, what is the best way, or like how would you, as like people watching this or as print shop owners, what is the best way for Gene to announce this? Is it send an email, like, I know one time you guys sent me a like teeny Coro card that had all of the pricing on it. Like you sent that in the mail. Like what you guys as business owners in the chat, like what's like to like stay up to date on announcements or things that like would help you as a business? Like what's a good way for you guys to learn or understand or know these things?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm curious what they all say. We're definitely doing mailers and we're gonna start email blasting it. It's kind of a soft launch today, but a lot of it should be active and working. If you add $49 in stuff to your shopping cart, you should be able to get down to free shipping. But yeah, I'm curious what anybody's gonna say. I know there's a delay, so it might be a minute before we hear anything back from everyone else. But it's going to be big, and I think it's going to be big on its own. I don't know that we have to be. That's always been my motto: is like make it good enough that people just want to buy from us. They want to work with us, not because we're like selling them to or anything like that. You know.
Well, that's honestly like I've used you guys for yard signs since before you guys sponsored my channel, and like the reason I like it is because it's convenient. Like the video I recorded this week, like or last week or whatever it was, like. It's literally super simple to walk through the website, upload the file, and be done. Like it's done within a matter of minutes. And like you said, like I think I ordered that Thursday or Friday, and it's already been like it's already out the door. It's done.
Been taking a look at it. Yeah. No, we try and make it very easy, very simple. That's really our goal. James really, I think if anybody can take credit, it's our client services team and James. They work really hard to make things very simple for everyone. They're constantly working to make it better. Every day we make just, you know, a dozen little minor improvements here and there, and that makes a big difference. Yeah.
Run through real quick, like your main products, just so people know, like they know yard signs, they know stickers, they know magnets at this point, but like kind of just hit kind of your top products, and then maybe a few things that you'll consider doing that are not necessarily on the website, like ACM that you mentioned.
Yeah. So I would say you nailed it. I don't think it's that broad of a thing. We do like 1 million yard signs a year, roughly. That's definitely bread and butter. That's what we want to be good at. We offer both screen and digital. Most of the big competitor wholesale suppliers that we compete against don't offer both. They don't offer free shipping on all of it like we do, et cetera, et cetera. So that's definitely, please consider us for your yard signs. The stickers are huge for us, as Darren said, and it's growing. And I think we're going to get better and better at it. That's really our goal. We really think that there's a good opportunity for everyone out there, for our clients, to resell those. And then, of course, we just do tons of foam core, styrene, PVC, real estate type signage. We do a lot of school signage, especially in the spring. So that's individually named, variable data type. For every graduating senior, for example, of a class of 200, we'll do those 200 signs where everybody's got their own name, those kinds of things. We'll even change pictures out, things like that. Those are huge for us. And we do a little bit of banner, and banner stands and whatnot are common. In terms of something that's on the website that we would consider selling, really what that comes down to is a lot more. So ACM is one of those things that we will run ACM at about $2,500 or more per job. So it's we're not great at it. It's not something, but we can do it, and we do it for a couple of clients that order huge volumes of it. But we love the little stuff. We love the $25 orders. We're all about those. But really, like, when you should reach out to us is when you've got kind of a special kitting scenario or split shipping. Things like that are really when we should talk. You've got, I would say my favorite, I hesitate to say that, a really good client of ours would be like a 50 chain restaurant or a 50 chain gas station or something like that with 50 locations. And we're helping our clients, providing a lot of service. They're doing a lot to help them out. They're doing the one-offs and things like that. And then maybe every quarter or every month, we're helping to ship inserts or something like snap frame inserts, and we'll redo those kind of on a monthly basis. And we can be really good at that kind of stuff, and that's not really on the website. So that's what that's kind of what I'd aim for. More logistics support than products necessarily. We do keep our product line pretty buttoned down. We want to be able to do what we do well.
So if someone has a variable data job, will you guys manage like the photos, and like if they provide an Excel spreadsheet or something, will you do all the imposing, or is it something like how do you could do that?
You could talk to us about the photos. Generally with the photos, you're uploading multi-page PDFs, so you've already done that. But in terms of variable data on a name, so we do a lot of auction paddles. That was something, corrugated plastic auction paddles. They're a wonderful product. We'll number those for you. I think we charge like $25, and that includes a proof back. We'll number those for you. Tell us the beginning and the end number roughly, or the beginning number and how many you want, and then we'll set those up. So that's a variable data type thing. We'll also, if you have a yard sign for a bunch of high school seniors or something like that, or the whole cheer team or whatnot, if you send us a spreadsheet with the names, we can impose those for you and get that all set up. And I think we charge $25. The new pricing actually has gone down. It used to be $75. We charge, I think, $25, and that includes a proof for that now. So yes, the kind of the answer to that is yes. We don't really get into the graphics and the photos, but text we certainly can. And so
Stig is asking what media you guys use for your stickers.
we run primarily dry tack material. So the gloss stickers are a 6 mil. It's a dry tack Polar 150 smooth, and then the permanent it's all dry tack. It's one form or another. It's a dry tack polymeric vinyl, so it's a pretty good product. It's not like a cast, like top of the line wrought vinyl, but it's nowhere near the bottom of the barrel either. It's very good stuff, very stable, good inventory product. So we have a few different.
If you're doing like a matte sticker, is it still a 6 mil or is it a 3 mil that is just okay?
Yeah, 3.2 mil with a matte laminate. And so I will say that we're playing with that a little bit right now and trying to get that all to really get to be a really good product that we can do fast. That's another key. We're faster. You order 100 stickers or something from us, we'll help you be faster than, the sticker ass guys. And I'm just kidding. I respect the heck out of their company. They're amazing. The Sticker Mule guys. They're incredible. And so, but we can help you compete with them, especially if you add that extra level of service where, you know, somebody can talk to you face to face, you know, or even just, you know, pick up the phone and talk to you and you build a relationship with those clients. We can help you stay competitive with them, particularly for the core products, gloss, mat, permanent, stickers.
I know Bob in the past has outsourced magnets, and the people that he's outsourced magnet to have gotten mad and rejected a job because they said the cut file was too complicated. Is that an issue with you guys?
That can happen. I'm not going to say it's not possible. So magnets, one of those things I will admit, we do quite a bit of it. I mean, I've got a pallet right behind Andrew, another pallet of it over there. We run hundreds and hundreds of square feet a week of it. I want to get better at it. We're going to get better at it. We've got some things that we want to do to improve it. But in terms of cutting, one of the challenges with magnet is it's kind of brittle. It tears. And so if your cut path's got these really complex, like concave type shapes to it and whatnot, it might be something where it tears as you cut it. So if that was rejected, it could have been for that reason. Now, if that wasn't the reason and they just didn't want to cut it because it was going to take a while to cut, we won't do that. We won't reject a job because it's going to take a while to cut. We'll reject a job because the end product is going to be junk. And so, but you know, that's when we'll talk through it with you. We'll ask you about it. We'll say, can we do this? Can we simplify this? And so that does happen. I would say every day somebody sends us something. It's like, we need to simplify this cut path because it's just not going to turn out well. You know, something in the digital world, they don't always equate to something in the real world. And so that's our job to kind of alert you to those kinds of things. So getting mad is ridiculous. Nobody should be mad about that. But calling you and saying, hey, this isn't going to be a good product, that's very realistic.
Yeah, well, that's what was surprising about Bob's situation was it was like it wasn't a complicated shape, and like most of us felt like it was being rejected because it might take a little bit more time than just a square or something. And so the fact that you guys won't reject a job because it might take a little bit longer is awesome.
I tell you, the way we operate is we look at it. We want to make our front end and our experience as simple, as easy, as straightforward as possible. And in order to do that, that means every once in a while we accept jobs that just take a lot longer than you'd expect. They don't run very well. They take a lot of labor or whatever. We just kind of swallow those and run through it because what happened? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You have to be able to trust that, you know, you're gonna throw the ball. We're gonna catch it and run with it, right? I mean, we have to be able to do that as a trade printer. And sometimes that means that we're running into a pack of lions for you, but you know, we just do it. You might get a call from me or James or somebody after we've done the job and say, hey, we're gonna have a challenge doing that one again, you know, for that price or whatever. But that, I can think of maybe twice we've done that this year. Like out of the 25,000 jobs we processed, like, I mean, that doesn't happen. We'll do everything we can to make it work. Because you've already sold it. We know that. By the time you're sending it to us, it's not impulsive. It's your client is expecting this at that point.
It's very true. I think that's all the questions I have. Does anyone else in the chat have some questions before we end this thing? I know Taylor just commented and said true magnets are a pain to cut. We'll cut them on the Summa sometime, and he said that they're a pain. He's currently doing nothing to make sure the shop stays quiet. Let's see if I can get myself up here on the screen. This was not the original plan. Bob's saying we need to let you go home, even though you're probably not going to go home. They'll just go back to work.
No, I've got another meeting that we're going to talk about our software here in about 20 minutes. So I'm in good shape. I really appreciate you having me on, Darren, and I appreciate everybody who's taking the time to watch this. I know we went really long. I hope that was a really good I hope it was some value to you guys, and just know that we're here. We're humans. This isn't like we try really hard to automate the front end of our stuff, and you might feel like you're kind of working with a computer for a moment, but we're back here. We care about what we're doing. You know, it really, the work you send us really matters to us, and we really appreciate that. So,
Yeah, so
thank you.
just thank you, Gene, for the tour. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Don't forget, thanks to Bob for getting us a coupon code. TTMS live stream. You can get 10% off an order up to
Up to $500.
yeah, 10% off up to $500. I appreciate you guys sponsoring the channel, and it was fun to meet you guys at Printing United. So I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. And again, anyone, if you guys have any specific questions, we're willing to do some other live streams on the boring stuff. So just let us know. I think both Gene and James are in the Print Fam Facebook group, so you can ask questions there.
Be sure to tag us.
Yeah,
Something else.
I know James is definitely more social than Gene when it comes to social media. But yeah, I think that's it, unless there's any last questions, but I think that's kind of everything. Thanks for the tour.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye everyone.
Okay.